CATV is proudly presented by Toyota.
Barry, thanks for chatting to CATV. What do you think of this series coming up?
Oh, I think it's going to be a ripper. They're both very, very good sides, great attacks. I probably think South Africa got the slight balance with the top six batter. But all in all, very, very good series, I think, in prospect.
Did you pay close attention to the Ashes that Australia ran through England?
Yeah, I did. They sort of started off okay and then just went downhill. I mean, I think England just lost the plot in the end, obviously with a little bit of infighting in their side. So I don't think they really stretched the Australians, but I think they'll have a different scenario here.
Who are the threats that South Africa should look out for?
Well, obviously our attack. I mean, Steyn obviously is a great fast bowler, so is Philander, and then you've got Morkel and Ryan McLaren, who I think will play in quite a big role in this, to fill in for Jacques Kallis as our fourth seamer. So I think we've got a very good attack, and then some world-class batsmen. I mean, Graham Smith's a proven player, so is Hashim Amla and AB de Villiers. So I think probably in the batting side we've slightly got the edge. But both attacks very good, and it'll be tough on the batsmen unless they pay a lot of attention and concentrate really hard.
Well, it's been made of the Stale versus Johnson contest. What are you looking forward out of that?
Yeah, I mean, Steyn, I think, is a world-class bowler. Doesn't matter who's down the other end, he's going to be a handful. So I just think, just as a cricket watcher, when any of the major players are at their best, the only thing that probably concerns me a little bit about the whole series is if somebody gets injured. I mean, it changes the whole balance of one of the attacks is without one of their best bowlers. So I think that could have a bearing. I mean, there's always the threat of injury, and I just hope it doesn't happen, because if we have 3 test matches with full sides, it's going to be very good to watch. Well,
South Africa don't have their pillar in Jacques Kallis anymore. How big a loss is he going to be to them?
Well, I mean, Jacques Kallis would be a loss to any team, because if you they put a lovely stat up the other day where his runs were the same as Dravid, and so was his average, and his wickets were the same as Zahir Khan, who's taken 300 Test wickets. So, I mean, you take somebody like that out of a side, it's obviously going to make a huge difference. It's going to upset the balance, because you've got to replace one player with 2. So you've got to fiddle around a little bit more with your selections to make sure the balance is right.
South Africa have been the #1 team in the world for a couple of years now. Where do you think they rank in terms of great South African teams and world teams?
Well, I mean, I think they're right up there. I mean, they only lack what most South African sides through the years have lacked, and that's a really world-class spinner. And if we'd had a world-class spinner, I think that makes just so much of a difference. But you can cover for that if you've got 4 very good seamers, which we have now. So, I mean, it's a side that to be reckoned with in whatever format of cricket they play. They might be #1 in the Test side, but I mean, they would be a formidable side in any sort of competition in cricket, because they've got some very talented players.
Hey, you last played for South Africa in 1970. Do you still enjoy the game as much as you did back then?
I do. I mean, I pick and choose what I watch. I suppose I've been watching cricket for a long time as a coach, and then as somebody who's worked in the media for a long period of time. So I rather pick and choose, and I'd much rather watch Michael Clarke bat than probably a few others that you wouldn't care to name right now. So I do pick and choose, but I enjoy watching it when there's a real contest, and I think this series will be a real contest.
I guess finally, can you give us a scoreline?
No. In a word, I mean, it's just too hard to pick. I mean, if Ryan Harris or somebody like that, or if Dale Steyn gets injured, it just changes the whole balance. It could tip it one way or another. I'd say South Africa probably would be favourites because their batting's a little stronger, but it's not going to be easy.